So the biggest thing that's been contributing to my musical inspiration lately has been collaborating with people on Instagram. And I think a lot of people are using Instagram and TikTok and YouTube incorrectly because I think a lot of times they just start doing what everybody else is doing and don't see it as a resource to collaborate with people that you would never be able to collaborate with. Lately, I've been posting a lot of Instagrams and TikToks where I take a guitar riff someone uploaded, or, you know, take some little funny sample thing that someone posted about. And kind of flip it and make it a song and add drums to it. And it's been huge for my creativity because not only do I get to record drums to it, but I get to work on mixing and production skills and everything. And it also ends up going on my Instagram and helping me, you know, put videos there. And I've actually been hired because people saw these like goofy videos I put on Instagram. So I'm going to show you a way to, instead of having social media crush your soul and make you hate music and feel bad about yourself, I'm going to post a video about how you can use social media to actually make your music making skills better and creatively inspire you. So the first step to this method is actually going and finding a sample that you're gonna use as kind of the main thing for the video you're gonna post or the little song you're gonna create. It's not gonna be this. There's Timbo. I love him. It's not gonna be this. Tori Kelly's amazing, but it's not gonna be that video. All right, we're over on Instagram. I love this account. Whoa, this one is crazy. Yes. All right, so I downloaded the video. All right, so it's loaded into Ableton, and this is how it sounds. So step one is finding the tempo it's at, getting the project set to that, and then kind of messing around and seeing how I can chop this thing up, because I'm not just going to let it play the whole time and play drums to it. I want to kind of find like maybe an A section for it and then a B section and things like that. Okay, that's one phrase. Okay. All right, so here's what we have so far. Kind of weird. There's a bar of 2/4 somewhere. There's two bars of like 5/4 kind of. But this is our basis. This is a cool, weird synth thing that we chopped up. We have kind of a starting point now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find some other things we can add to it. Maybe like a pad from a keyboard, maybe a bass line that we can add before we add drums to kind of make it feel a little bit more like a song. So to get a bass line, what I did is I took all the original riff, copied the audio down to a new track, shifted it all down an octave. I have an EQ that filters off some of the high end, and then I have a saturation thing, and I have a compressor that's just kind of like making it a bass. All right, so we got ourselves a bass line. So the next goal is to find something that we can kind of make a pad for this second section, some kind of like synth sounding thing. All right, so the initial kind of production is done. I like Ableton because you can really mold tracks to be however you want them to be, and you can change the tempo and the pitch and really easily. But now that I kind of have the arrangement and I've made some weird synth and bass parts out of stuff, I'm going to move it over to Pro Tools so that I can, start tracking drums to it, programming some stuff, and then eventually do the final mix over in Pro Tools where I'm more comfortable editing audio and also mixing and just kind of the general workflow. But Ableton I use now to get ideas started because it's so you can mold things so easily in it. Okay, so now that we're in Pro Tools, I've gone ahead and added like some markers and some time signatures because in Ableton I was kind of just treating everything like it was 4/4 even though I knew there were some odd times. Now I need drums, and I want to think about the drums not just like let me sit down and play some chops over this, but I want to create a part that's half feels like real drums, half feels like programmed like electronic drums. So let's see if we can do that. That might require me playing some kind of weird little percussion thing or whatever, but let's see what we come up with. All right, so I think I have the part. You know, I never go for perfection with this kind of thing. We're not trying to get perfect. You can get trapped in like a let's do this perfect thing, and it's just not worth it. It's never going to be perfect. So you kind of have to find the right balance of like, it's going to sound good, I'm going to be proud of it, versus let me just spend 17 more hours, doing this, even though I'm not going to get it perfect ever. So let me walk you through this little setup because there's some fun stuff. So we have the Istanbul hats over here. They kind of have those bottle caps on them to kind of dampen some of these. I'm borrowing these from a friend. I don't love these. And those serve to kind of dampen the hats and kill some of these weird overtones it gets. And then I have a rack tom. That's just straight up normal rack tom stuff. I have these bongos over here, and I have my floor tom mic pointing at them so that that floor tom mic will capture these close, and I'll be able to add some effects to them without like ruining the rest of the mics. I have a regular ride cymbal over here, and it has a little towel on it. Normal kick drum with, bass drum beater. And then I have this snare drum. It's a sugar percussion snare, and I have a chain taped around it. Probably first saw that from someone like Aaron Sterling, but I did a video on the YouTube channel a long time ago about like making your snare drum into a sample, and that's kind of one of the tricks that I did. It's cool. It adds, like, again, I was going for a pop programmed feel, but actually live playing. So as to pair with this synth thing, because I think one of the things you can do when you're doing these little experiments is push yourself to not just sit down and play like the normal 4/4 rock groove you would. Push yourself to play something a little more interesting, a little weird. And that's part of the reason why it took a while. Like it took 7 takes instead of 2 for me to get this part down, because I wanted to make sure I was like utilizing the bongos to their full extent, and had a little pattern and part planned out for them, and make sure that I'm, playing the snare drum right so the chains are rattling but not going to be too overbearing or not falling off the drum, and push yourself to experiment a little and kind of get creative with it. All right, so now the fun begins, and I sit down and kind of mix and produce this thing. Don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that like button and do all those things, and leave a comment about, I don't know, what you do to get out of a creative rut. And now, after all that fun of pulling down a random Instagram video and putting it in Ableton and producing it and then throwing it in Pro Tools so that you can play drums to it and mixing it and whatever, here's the final result that you can now post on whatever, and it'll be a cool little time capsule of a fun little experiment you did one day where you learned all these skills of playing groove better and producing better and thinking musically better and all these things, and maybe even grow your Instagram following for whatever reason you want to do that.